into that world, and it's really helped me a lot, like with my career growth. And it kind of sounds like I'm advertising for his class, but you guys are already in it and you're almost done with it. So I don't really need to do that. I'm sure you know like how helpful Brito's coursework is, his lessons, and his teaching style is really great. Yeah, I mean, I just am really grateful for the opportunity to network in that world and to learn so much. I've been at Zeno now since like June of last year. I was an intern for like 6 months, and then in December I was hired full time to work on the digital team. So I'm an assistant account executive now, and it's been great. It's been like about 11 months, going into almost a year, hopefully, in June. And yeah, it's really great. I'm excited to continue working there, to continue learning. I learned a lot in my first couple months, and it hasn't even been a year yet. So yeah, I'm if you guys have any questions, love to answer them,
Hey,
whatever,
Kat,
like about agency work or anything. Yeah.
I have a quick question. Maybe you can address this. So some of the class that you took was a little bit, every semester is different, just depending upon like what's happening in the world. How much of it was, I'm just thinking about the work that we do on some of our clients where we're literally on teams and we're like writing copy, we're coming up with creative. And we did talk a little bit about, in your class headlines and, the creative must match that. So can you just talk a little bit about that? And then also about the work that you do, because you're kind of one of those hybrid workers where you have skills in analytics, you're a good writer, you also can create content like animated videos and GIFs. Maybe you can just hit on, certainly the analytics and the managing of client expectations. Can you just hit on
Yeah.
that a little bit?
Yeah. So first off, with Rita's class, I know it changes a little bit each year. I don't know what you guys learned this year, but I'm assuming just like SEO stuff, Booleans, a little bit of analytics, and like maybe copy or like whatever. I think a lot of the stuff that you taught was really applicable to the position, especially because we're on the same team. So I think you had a really good understanding of what you need to know, what kind of knowledge would prepare you for success going into agency work and or like social media / digital marketing work. So that was like super helpful. It definitely applied more to my career than like a lot of my other classes, to be honest. um, I It was like especially helpful because I felt like I learned stuff and I retained that knowledge, that Brito was still teaching to other people that were already in the company. So I came in already knowing like how to build a Boolean and how that all that works. Um, Currently, I do a lot of like different things. I try and like keep an open mind so I can like learn as much as I can in different subjects. There's a ton like to learn, and like the learning curve's not like too bad. I think that once you just get in and like get your hands dirty with it, it's fairly easy, and especially when you have the background knowledge, to really help you, and like and you have the what's the word the motivation for it. It's very easy. I do some influencer work with like mostly like tech influencers, but some of my colleagues do like consumer influencer work. So like with different brands that you might recognize, like Crest toothpaste or something like that, or like Nido robots or something. But I mostly work in like the tech world with like Invisalign or like automation or just data, big data, data science. Um, yeah. What was
Okay.
the
Oh,
other
no,
question that you
that was
had?
perfect. That was perfect, Kat. So I guess I would open up to the class because you have a wide array of students here. There's a couple grad students. We have a freshman. Sean, I like to give you a hard time. And then we have everybody in between, right? We have PR majors. I think there's a few journalist majors, marketing. So I would encourage anyone in the class to ask Kat a question. It could be anything about interviewing. And in full transparency, I saw Kat's skills and I saw other people's too before that. There's a few others who are on our team that used to work, that went through my class. and you kind of help them get to an interview, and they work there. It's not like it's a automatic hire, because my team has to decide, obviously. But any questions about the interview process, or I know some of you are struggling with finding internships, any tips for that or questions you have for Kat, please ask her, and she'd be open to answering anything.
How much terminology did you learn in school versus like in the professional world?
Well, since I majored in public relations, it was kind of different terminology than what I would say that I work with now. I mean, we do work with PR teams, so I still have that like knowledge and I know what they're talking about. But with digital marketing, it was like when I first started, it was only the knowledge that I had from this class, and then like the basic intro to marketing class that you're required to take. And that was helpful, but I think a lot of it I had to kind of learn on my own too. But it's not too difficult. I mean, I just like, when I first started, I had like a little journal of just different terminology that I needed to know or needed to remember. And then after time, it just kind of stuck with me, and I didn't need that crutch anymore.
How did you make yourself stand out in the interview process? Since you had like a PR background and you were applying for digital marketing, how did you make yourself stand out?
I don't know like what the team really stood out to them, but I did like try my best to just highlight that I was very passionate about the work, that I really was eager to learn, and like willing to get my hands dirty and like just do the work and like learn as much as I could in that short amount of time for the internship. I think that was what kind of set me apart, I would hope. Because like I said before, I was like super nervous because I didn't feel like I had enough experience. So I was hoping like just showing that I was eager and like willing to learn and do the work would really help.
Yeah. Also, what Kat isn't telling everybody is that she's an influencer herself on Instagram. So I'll show you.
Well, just I do it for fun on the side. So I also included that like in my resume, just as kind of like I have experience with social media and like the influencer world and like working with them. Not necessarily, I don't want to say I'm an influencer because I'm not at that level, but it is fun and like kind of like a good way to get into the world and like know how things work.
Hi, my name is Zhenia. So I would like to ask you, what was the most challenging when you first got to the job, maybe like first month, maybe something that you didn't expect, and how you like managed to deal with this?
Be honest, Kat, I won't listen.
The most challenging thing I think was somewhat a learning curve, just trying to like get into the digital marketing world because I didn't know a lot of that stuff yet. I just had like a small background from certain classes. That was a little bit hard, but I think what really helped was like not being afraid to ask questions. And I think at Zeno, it was really helpful that everybody is very friendly and they want you to learn. So especially when you're an intern, like you should never be afraid to ask questions, because whoever hired you or whatever company you work for should understand that like you're trying to learn and do as much as you can. And I don't know, I mean, like I still even ask questions a lot. You try and figure it out yourself at first, but when you can't, like don't be afraid to reach out and like ask somebody, even if it's just like just your coworker that sits next to you, because that's even super helpful. I know not everybody's gonna have like a super understanding or like approachable boss like Brito, but if you are lucky enough to have somebody like that, he's always been really helpful with answering questions for me, and like kind of mentoring me and guiding me through agency life. I guess the second thing that is challenging still for me is like balancing everything, because agency life is really it's a lot of work. It's a lot of like some, not like tons of overtime work, but like sometimes you need to like be able to answer your client on the weekend, or they might need something important because you go on like a conference with them or something for social media. But yeah, I mean, it's a work in progress, and I don't think it's too difficult if you learn how to manage your time, which you will over time.
One thing I think, well, hold up, Sean. One thing I think is I want to just build on what Kat said, which is one thing that I really appreciate about her is, to her point, like if she has a question, the first thing she does is she tries to figure it out herself. And then if she can't, then she asks the question. And I think that is kind of a distinction, because there's a lot of people who will, ask questions first before doing anything. It's like those people who like ask you a question and they could have Googled it. Like that annoys me. I don't know if it annoys you.
Yeah.
But there's actually a website called Let Me Google That For You. And you can literally type in a Google query and it records a little video. You send it to them and it shows them how to use Google. It's pretty funny. So anyway, yeah, I think that ability to, leverage the tools that you have at your disposal, right? If you don't know the answer, Google probably does. But even then, asking other people, because it just shows that you're resourceful in finding information. So that's just, I want to talk about that, because that is a skill that you really can't you can't really like sell yourself on that as somebody who's interviewing. But when you're hired, like that's just a good skill to like practice, is try everything first. And then when you can't find the answer, then you ask your manager. So Sean, you were going to say something, man.
Yeah. Like how many hours would you say you work on average?
Well, you're supposed to be working like 40 hours a week, I believe, especially when you're an intern. They're a lot more strict, and still even right now, because I'm like technically hourly, it's all like, yeah, technically hourly, but I still get paid a salary. But when you're an intern, it's definitely like you should be working these times, especially to kind of ease you into like the work life, I guess. Now I still work about the same. I try and like keep very strict hours for myself. It's really difficult right now just with quarantine, because like life between work and home is kind of getting blurred just because we're at home all the time. But normally it's easy for me, because like once I leave the office, I'm usually kind of like, I'm not going to look at my work phone. I'm not going to look at my laptop unless there's something super urgent and somebody like needed to reach me. Then obviously I'm going to be at their like beck and call for that, but it doesn't happen too often. Like this was a question that I asked during my interview, and the people that interviewed me said like work-life balance isn't too difficult. It kind of depends on the person, because it's like how you manage your time. Are you like saying yes to everything even though you know you can't handle everything? Are you like, just how you manage your time is just super important, and that's going to affect how you balance work and life.
I have a question. I wanted to know, what advice do you have, if any, in regards to looking for an internship, especially during this time of COVID?
Good question.
That's a super good question. I think that it's kind of an unprecedented time for all of us. Like even like people that are hiring or work in recruiting, it's like kind of like, I don't know what's going to happen, so I don't know what to do. Or like for me, this is my first like, I guess, real world career, so I don't know like exactly what I would say, except just keep like, don't give up and keep being proactive and like looking online. I know it's going to be really tough, and like times is very uncertain right now, but my best advice, I think, would be to work on yourself during this time. Like maybe apply to things that you really are interested in, reach out to people on LinkedIn, stay connected to mentors, other students, people like Brito, work on your resumes, your portfolios, maybe even learn some new skills. I know you can get free online courses on different things. If you want to work on graphic design or more marketing skills, I think that's the best that you can do right now, because a lot of it, I think, is out of your control. I don't know if you would agree, Brito.
No, yeah, there's, especially right now, a lot of, I think LinkedIn Learning there's a free 90-day thing.
You get it free at the school.
Oh, you get it free. Then you should be taking every class possible. Or
or go ahead.
Well, or Udemy, which is like a free, well, it's not free, it's like $10, but right now it's free, I believe. You can take data science classes, you could take marketing, you can take so many digital marketing classes. The more you're subjected to this type of conversation, whether it's in a classroom environment or it's with other colleagues or training, the easier it'll be when you go through the interview process. So, just, it seems like we're wasting time right now, but like this is an optimal time for you guys to, add to your LinkedIn profile, and you can only do that through learning. So.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's the best time right now to kind of invest in yourself and like pay that $10 for the learning course if you can. I definitely recommend like learning Excel functions if you don't know it. Even if you don't do it every day, it's a really, really important skill set to have. I don't know like everything on Excel. I could probably take a class myself, but like I think it's really helped. And it is good to have on your resume too. A lot of people look for, stuff like that, or graphic design. I do a little bit of creative with that, and Burritos helped me kind of refine my skills with that too. Because not every company can afford to have like a graphic designer or more than one. So it's really helpful to have those creative skills if you're interested in that or you enjoy doing stuff like that, to kind of help the workload of that graphic designer or just even be able to do stuff yourself. And I think it's fun. So I would recommend it.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Kat?
Yeah. So like you said that like with the terminology, like you'd write it down. Like how would you play that off though? Like, because obviously like there's sometimes like where you can't like just admit that like you don't know where something is because it looks unprofessional. So like how would you like go about that?
I guess it wasn't stuff that like I felt was really pressing in the moment. So I could like refer back to it later on. But I would say like when you're an intern or like even still entry level or just getting to know a job, you shouldn't feel afraid like to ask a question like, oh, I don't know what that means. Can you please explain it? Because there are definitely still like things that I don't know what people are talking about and I have to ask. But I don't think anybody, looked down on me for it or like got angry that I was asking like what this means. But that's just from my personal experience at this agency. I don't know exactly what it's like everywhere else, but I think most people would be understanding if you had to ask like what something means, or if you could hold off until you can go look at your notes or something.
Like, do you deal with like clients?
Yeah.
So like, has that like ever come up like where they ask for something and like you don't know what that is?
I guess sometimes, but usually we're corresponding through email. So it's like I can just look it up or like I'll ask somebody what they mean. I think during phone calls, I haven't had it happen too much. And usually I'm not like alone, like for my level at least, I'm not alone on a phone call with the client. So I'd have somebody like my manager or somebody senior to me on that account that would like ask if they needed to know, or I could just ask them later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, Kat, thank you so much. Can they connect with you on LinkedIn? Is that okay?
Yeah. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. My full name's Catherine, Kathryn. Rito could send it out, or if you guys want like resume help or portfolio help or something, I can do that too. So Rito, you can like feel free to share my email or something.
Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in your LinkedIn profile in the chat section here so they can connect with you. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Kat. Appreciate it. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Kat.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you.
All right, guys. How was that? Good, huh? Awesome. Let me just drop in. How do I just send everybody a note? Everyone, okay. There we go. I just dropped in her LinkedIn into the chat box. So please connect with her. She's just it's another connection for you guys. So please do that when you can. All right, so a couple things. I want to just share with you the final exam. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I haven't been very lenient in homework. Have I not? Okay, I saw a few, and some people I don't see their faces, so they're probably like, "Oh my God, what's he doing?" So I wrote up a final, which you have 2 weeks to complete. Okay, so it might seem difficult, but let's walk through it. Okay, so the first, let me actually just talk about. All right, I'm going to drop it in the notes because I don't want to show you the whole thing because I have a bunch of notes here. All right, so let me drop it in chat. Is there a way to like have a whiteboard here? Let me see.
I think you can do like share your screen and just have like a blank background, and then you can annotate on it.
Yeah. No.
It should say whiteboard when you click share screen.
I don't see it. Let me see. Oh, whiteboard. Yes. See? Okay. Can you guys see my screen or see the whiteboard?
It's still loading for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't type. You know what? I'm just going to read it. Make it simple. All right. So here's the first question that I'm gonna just listen to it. Okay. I'm gonna post it in Canva tonight. Okay. Now, well, let me just say it. Define peso in your own words. Give 3 to 5 examples, or excuse me, give 3 to 5 example tactics in each. Be very specific. If you have the resources to only do 2 of the 4, which would they be and why? So I'm not just looking for pay, P equals paid. I mean, that is obviously what they mean. We all know that. But in your words, I want you to talk about what it means to you, okay? Because we spent the first or second night in class talking about the importance of surround sounding your audiences with consistent messaging and creative content, and peso is the way to do that. So again, I'm not going to give you a limit in terms of how many words or characters or pages. Like, you be the judge of how the quality of your answer. Okay. Let me read it again. Define peso in your own words. Give 3 to 5 example tactics in each. Be very specific. If you have the resources to only do 2 of the 4, like paid and earned or paid and owned or earned and shared, which would they be and why? Okay. So part of this is like obvious, right? You're going to either know what they are or not. And obviously you're going to Google it. But the hardest part is the end, right? Why? So that's what's going to require some critical thinking on your part. And that's you'll see that in our questions. I have 4 questions, okay, that are all due in 2 weeks. And a 5th question is going to be extra credit. Okay, so the next one is, what are the 4 main differences between influencer marketing for B2B brands and consumer brands? Explain. What must marketers consider when launching an influencer program? Is the 1-9-90 model applicable to consumer brands as well? Why or why not? Okay, so again, feel free to go back to some of the videos that you guys watch because the answers are there. The answers were in the lecture as well. So I feel pretty confident that you guys can do that effectively. Next question, give 2 examples of companies that have launched influencer marketing programs and answer these questions. How are they different from one another? How are they the same? Would you be influenced to buy if you saw one of those posts? Please provide screenshots of influencer content. So the best thing that I would do, honestly, is Google influencer case study. Find a case study, read it. Most likely they're going to tell you what the program is, the brand is, the campaign, the hashtag. Then just look it up. Look in Instagram, look to see if you can find the hashtag or on Twitter and do some research. It's going to take some time to find and understand the breadth of the program. Okay, but start with case study. I guarantee you if there's hundreds of case studies online, and you just have to dig deeper and research that case study. Don't just use the words from the case study to answer your question because you probably can't. Okay.
I sent you a message. Like, I don't know if I should like say it out loud because if it's like an answer to the question you just asked, but like, does that count?
Say that again. Ask the question.
Okay. So I was wondering if like it counts as influencer marketing if like they have like a special code, like you can sign up to have a special referral code or like referral link that anyone can put up on their like Instagram, whatever, and they get paid per
yeah,
purchase.
that's kind of like affiliate marketing, right? So I mean that's a portion of influencer marketing. I'm looking more for the work that's around larger brands, or and certainly they probably do have like Amazon codes, like redeemable codes and stuff like that, or eBay codes. So if that's part of it, that's even better. But it's not a requirement.
Okay.
Cool. All right. The next question, or the last question, is okay. In Facebook, build an audience. So you might have to create a Facebook business page, but that's okay. It takes 2 minutes. In Facebook, build an audience of consumers located in the Bay Area, 25 to 45, married, interested in technology, the latest gadgets, streaming video. They drive higher end BMWs, Acuras, and some are on the waiting list for the next Tesla. This audience will wait in line for new products, want the latest new gadgets, and are willing to pay a premium to buy before everyone else. If you had $15,000 a month, how many impressions and clicks can you expect to get? What about, if you have $5,000 a month, how many clicks and impressions can you expect to get? What about $15,000 a month? What about $30,000 a month? And so that's going to require you to go and build an audience in Facebook, okay? And this one isn't going to really, the only part of this that I'm expecting you to think about is, and by the way, I'm going to want you to show a screenshot of, let me share my screen real quick, of what the audience would look like, because each of you are going to build your audiences differently. So I want to see how that looks. Okay. All right. Do you guys see that? I'm just going to scroll in here. Whoa. There we go. Remember when we went through this exercise where you choose your country or language and all these other attributes, right? Whoa, sorry about that. So I want you to take a screenshot of that when you're done, so that I can see how you built the audience. Now, the hardest part that you guys are going to have, and I'll just go ahead and show you the questions, is this, right? Because some of these things, like they drive higher end BMWs, they like technology. I mean, some of you might be this type of person, like, you want the latest iPhone, you go wait in line for the iPhone, or some, cool product, and you're not ashamed of like waking up at 2 a.m. to do that. You're willing to pay a higher premium for that just because you want the latest in technology. So this is somebody who's really interested in technology. It could be a man or woman, because they're both out there. And so however you build this audience, when you go into the audience builder, it's going to be through the interests and behaviors. So I want you to think strategically about, and look, because you can type in any word and there'll be like a drop down of different attributes and characteristics. The more focused you are, the more targeted your campaign will be. Okay, so that's the final, guys. 4 questions right here. I will drop these into Canva later tonight, or Canvas, sorry. The last, for those of you who, not everybody needs it, but if you want to make sure that you get that 4.0, you can do one last question, and that is around your positioning statement. So I'd like you to write a new positioning statement, because I bet it might be different than what it was the first time you wrote it earlier this semester. And I also have a homework assignment, right? I know I was going to ask you to do this homework last week, but I'm going to do it this week for a few reasons, and I can explain later. But it's a post on LinkedIn, and I really want you to talk about, if you can do this in the allotted characters on LinkedIn, talk about, what are the 2 or 3 top takeaways that you've learned in this class, okay? Because, that is going to be the last time I'm ever going to ask you to write in LinkedIn. And I'm hoping that this is going to be become common behavior for you, because I've said this before, you're competing with everyone, not just people in the class, but you're competing with students globally who want to work for cool companies here in the Bay Area, or fashion brands in LA or New York. So that's the homework assignment. I know I kind of threw everything in there, but just to reiterate, there are 4 final questions. They're here. I'm showing you. The extra credit question is to rewrite your positioning statement, your personal brand statement. Okay, that's the final. Due 2 weeks from tonight. Okay, and what I would ask is that you do it in a Google Doc and just add me as a collaborator, and then send me an email, because when you add me as a collaborator, I don't get notified for some reason. So just send me an email when you're ready for me to take a look at it, and then I will grade them as soon as possible, because I think I have like 2 or 3 days to get them in the system, and I can do that. Now the homework assignment, I'm probably going to make the homework assignment due next Tuesday, so it's not a heavy lift. It should be very easy for you to write that, and I'll post something in the, we're not going to meet next week, by the way, but I will look and see, and I will look at your posts. I will post on Canvas for you to add the homework assignment in the comments. Okay. So any thoughts on the final? Any questions? Is it easy? Is it hard? Should I make it more difficult or more easy, or what do you guys think?
I just had one question. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Can we write in bullet points? Or do you want a paragraph? Because I feel like you hate paragraphs.
Well, no, I honestly, I want you to, I do hate paragraphs, but I think in this context, literally all I'm looking for is a Word document with the question, and then you answer it how you want to answer it. If you can best I don't want an introduction, body, and conclusion. Don't do that, okay, ever with me. Just answer the question. I think this, here's why. I think this, here's why. Here's what I would do. So you can be as informal as you want to be. I'm just looking to I'm not going to even check your grammar. I don't care about your grammar, okay, or punctuation. I don't care if it's 1 period or 2 periods after 1 or 2 spaces after the period. By the way, did you know that in Microsoft Word now, it's if you do 2 spaces, it shows up as an error?
Yeah.
Yeah. They just did that a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So I got to get used to not doing 2 spaces. Anyhow, so just literally put the question, question 1, here's the question, and then answer it. Question 2, answer it. Don't need to put, your name, class, date. Just, I'm going to go there. I'm going to read it. I'm going to annotate whether or not I felt that you learned the material well enough. And then I'm going to put your grade in my Excel document. Okay. So please do not copy and paste from the internet. I know you guys won't, but I'm required to tell you guys. It's not, you're selling yourself short by doing it that way anyway. So put some thought into it. You have 2 weeks. If you have any questions along the way, or, you want me to provide any type of direction, if you're thinking about answering one of the questions, you're like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? I'm happy to hop on a Zoom with you. Okay. So just send me a note and let me know. But this is this is 50% of your grade. Okay. Because we didn't take a midterm because I'm going to blame COVID in case anybody asks. We didn't take a midterm, and the midterm was 25% and the final was 25%. No midterm, 50% is the final. The other 25%, other 50% was just based on your participation and your homework. Okay. Were you in class? Were you asking questions? Even if you weren't necessarily asking questions, that's fine. But if you were present, if you were doing the homework, I have it all documented. So that's how I grade. So that's just how I do it. So please spend time on this. You don't need to send it to me tomorrow or the next day. Give it some thought. Go take a walk if you can, and think about the way that I explain information. Again, I just want to see. I'm going to be the judge of this, of whether or not you understand the concepts, because that's the most important. Is, do you understand what I explained? Do you understand the material? And that's how I will grade you. I'm not going to grade on length. If you can answer a question in 1 sentence, and it makes sense, and I feel like you know the material, then you're good. Now, is it going to be one sentence? Probably not, but you know what I mean. Like, and don't write like an essay. Please don't write an essay for each question. Okay. If it takes you 1,000 words to answer one question, then you did too much. Okay. So I'm giving you some parameters, right, on what length, if you will, but answer it to your best ability, you know, and ask questions along the way. So, so this is goodbye.
I have a question really quickly.
Okay. Let me rewind.
It's doesn't have to do with the final, but last homework you asked us to sign up for a seminar for tomorrow and write about it. What do you want us to talk about? How do you want us to write it? And where do we submit it?
Hey, Sean, was that canceled?
Was what canceled?
The webinar. Didn't you email me about that?
Oh, no, I emailed you asking like if I can leave early. Cause like,
oh, sorry. Yes, you can leave early. So yes, that I forgot about that homework assignment. Thanks for reminding me. I just want you to, well, I'm going to leave it up to you. You know, I'm going to make this an honor system type thing where, you know, I really do want you to listen to this webcast or webinar. And I'd like you to, you know, if you feel compelled to do so, put something on LinkedIn about who the speakers were. If I were you, I would write up a LinkedIn post. I would tag the company. I would tag the speakers. If they said anything interesting or insightful, I would tag them. It's more visibility for you. They could be your next hiring manager. Okay. So honestly, that's in your court. Please tag me if you do post so that I can see that you did it. And I'll give you extra credit for that. And then also for the homework that I just explained for, you know, the top 2 or 3 most impactful insights that you learned in this class, tag me on that one as well. Just so that, again, that I don't have to like go in somewhere and look for it, just so I can see it and then I can give you credit for it. Okay. Is everybody clear? I'm going to put all this out on Canvas too after, just so that we're all crystal clear on what to do and when. Sweet. All right. Now I can say it's time to say goodbye. Who's sad? Honestly, who's sad? I'm sad. I'm pretty sad. You guys are, honestly, and I don't tell this to every class, and I'm glad Kat hung up. This is a good class. You guys, I mean, the type of output that you guys had with all of you, the writing, your homework assignments, and I did read your homework assignments, even though we did not discuss it all. I checked it out and I looked at it, and you guys were way advanced. And your writing in LinkedIn is second to none. And you guys know how much of an impact you made, right? By looking at just your number of, requests for connections, the engagement on those posts. So I would just ask you as a friend, like, keep doing that. Keep going. People, like, this has brought about a lot of attention for me being a professor teaching at San Jose State. Like, my colleagues are seeing this. They're seeing you guys. They're seeing your thoughts and your thinking on LinkedIn. And the only person that's going to benefit is you. Okay, so I'll leave. I'll stop there. And then the last thing I'll say is, please, after class is over and we're kind of completely done with San Jose State, reach out to me. I think we're all connected on LinkedIn. So let's connect. Ask if you have any questions or you need me to open any doors for you professionally. I can do that. If you need me to check out your LinkedIn profile, you're thinking about making some changes to it, I can check that out. I can give you feedback. I will not read your resumes. I will not read your cover letters, okay? Because those are irrelevant, in my opinion. I'm kidding. I'll do it if you really want me to. But stay in touch and let me know, guys, where you guys are, especially like for those of you graduating this year. There's going to be, despite COVID, I see internships all over the place. We're not sure if we're going to have an internship open at Zeno yet, but I'll let you guys know if there is. But don't let that deter you from like going out there and hustling and trying to find an internship. Okay.
Michael, can I have a quick check-in with you after class?
Yes. I'll just stay on. Is that cool?
Okay. Yeah.
I wasn't going to forget about you, even though you like flaked on me earlier this week. I'm kidding. All right. Hey guys, thank you. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. I'll get the questions and everything posted up on Canvas later this evening.
Thank you so much for this class.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, it was
Janya,
great.
good luck.
Thank you.
And hey, Janya, I'm still looking out for you. Okay.
Yeah.
I know you're kind of in a hard spot. Well, you'll get through it. You'll get through it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
By the way, I recorded this class and I'm going to post it. So FYI.